I'm Keitha Nelson. We have live team coverage for you this morning. Fires burning on our first coast. Terry Gilliam is live in Brantley County, where a 3,800-acre wildfire is currently burning. And our Farihar Brar will be joining us live in St. Johns County with tips from fire officials on how to prepare yourself and protect your family and your home while wildfires burn. But first, we want to check in with meteorologist Mike Brantley standing by. We are under a weather impact alert this morning.
Yeah, so that smoke and the haze you saw behind Terry there in Faria, it's only going to get thicker today. And we've got the lower air quality affecting those with respiratory ailments and, tracking the wildfires and still that elevated risk today. So we've got the weather impact alert at least through tomorrow morning. Big thing here on Earth Day, fire prevention. Even grilling out, you have to be careful. Even mowing your lawn, that's how dry it is out there. And if you're sensitive to, yes, we're talking smoke, limit that time outside because that air quality will be dropping. And in fact, if you look outside here, look at that air. You can see the haze over our beautiful bold city right now. Downtown, there's St. Johns River. Very glassy and calm right now. The good news is the wind will be calmer today, more reasonable out of the east at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So that will help the firefighters. But look at all the smoke. My goodness. So you look at Waynesville, the big Brantley County fire, 5,000 acres. So you can see where you see the blues and the oranges, even the oranges and the reds. See the scale here. We're talking about even the thicker smoke toward Folkestone and Waycross, where there's other wildfires causing some issues. So this is the problem. Smoke spreading throughout the area, including Metro Jackson as we head through the afternoon and especially this evening with those lighter winds. And yes, we're talking about low visibilities and unfortunately choking type of smoke out there. So you've got to be careful. In fact, we're going to keep you updated on those roads, the road closures. Temperature wise, warmer start 60, back up near 80 degrees. More clouds in the forecast. We'll track at least a few showers on the way, especially for the weekend. But first, we got Crystal keeping you safe on those smoky roads.
Yeah, we have a lot to get through. I'm going to get to those Brantley County closures in just a second, but real quick, Jacksonville, we are at a standstill out there. I-295 southbound, heavy delays from 103rd Street all the way across the Buckman Bridge. There was a vehicle fire out there blocking several lanes on the southbound side. You're moving at less than 10 miles per hour all the way from 103rd Street across the Buckman Bridge. 41 minutes between Blanding Boulevard and I-95 and AS Jacks. Go ahead and hop on 103rd Street. Use Roosevelt southbound to get to those Yorktown and Birmingham gates. All right, Brantley County, we are dealing with wildfires, shutting down major roadways. US 82 between US 301 and Old Post Road is closed, both east and westbound lanes. And then we've got State Road 259 as well as State Road 110 closed. Just make sure that you guys are aware. It is very smoky out there. Use caution and increase that traveling distance between you and the vehicle in front of you. Keitha.
Thanks for that, Crystal. This wildfire also shutting down highways and schools. We're talking about the wildfire in Brantley County. It's massive, 3,800 acres. It's already destroyed more than 3 dozen homes. Our Terry Gilliam is live for us this morning in Brantley. The sun is finally shining out there. We can see behind you an active scene right now. Now he's at the Atkinson Elementary School. Terry, again, how are things looking at this hour for you? You've been with us throughout the morning, giving us insight into what's happening there on the ground.
Yeah, good morning, Keitha. I can tell you while driving up to Brantley County, crossing state lines, you can start smelling the smoke through your car. And now that we're actually on the side of the road right in front of Atkinson Elementary School, you can definitely smell the smoke. It's still here, and you can see where I'm standing is actually lingering in the area. And I'm going to move out the way so you guys can see this is an active scene, but it's just law enforcement making sure that these roads remain closed. So in case somebody comes through here, they're going to be redirecting traffic. So they've been here all morning. They've actually had a lot of people come by to check on them as well. They've checked on us as well. And of course, we let them know what we were doing. But if you look at your screen here, you can see this is the dramatic scene that occurred here in Brantley County. These are a large amount of flames ripping through this area. And a lot of people were able to witness this firsthand. And of course, the Georgia Forestry Commission says that this is a 3,800 acre fire and only right now 10% of it is contained. And we did speak with families that were living here recently, and they told us what it was like to experience this.
And then it was like basically in our backyard, pretty pitch black smoke, but yeah, it got really close to us.
He was at school. I thought our house was gonna burn down.
It was nice to see like the volunteer firefighters in the backyard, like willing to risk their life.
And of course, Keitha, I've mentioned before, we are going to be out here all morning monitoring the situation. You know, all eyes are on these massive wildfires here. Of course, it displaced many people. We're going to try to see if we can go find some folks at a local shelter maybe. But, you know, we are going to be here in the area making sure everything remains good for a lot of folks here. But for now, in Brantley County, I'm Terry Gilliam, First Coast News, on your side.
Thanks for that, Terry. And folks, right now on your screen listed for you for the latest information on evacuations and shelters related to the wildfire there in Brantley County. You can text Brantley or Brantley Fires to that number on your screen. It's 904-633-2402, and we'll send you a link with some helpful details. And staying in southeast Georgia at this hour, a 16,000-acre wildfire currently burning in Clinch County. Right now, it's more than half the size of the Walt Disney World Resort. The fire started Saturday and since then has more than tripled in size. At this hour, that fire is now just 10% contained. And moving to Florida, another major wildfire, this one in Putnam County. The Pace Court fire is flaring up. We have some new pictures posted by the Putnam County Sheriff's Office right now on your screen. We're told these are from crews on that scene of the Cuca Farms Tuesday afternoon. Now, the fire has burned at least 343 acres and is 85% contained. Officials say the crews are out working to protect homes. Now, they're also asking people to donate snacks, Gatorade, and water to the County Emergency Operations Center. Now, that's located on State Road 19 in Palatka. With dozens of homes already destroyed in our area and fire risks still high, we're going to the experts to discuss the best ways to protect your home. As we've been mentioning, all counties in our area currently under a burn ban. We're going to turn things over to our Fariha Abrar. She is standing by right now, live for us in St. Johns County. Now, you've been providing some really helpful information throughout the morning, Fariha. What do folks need to know at this hour?
Well, Chris has been sharing with us that everybody needs to make sure that the 5-foot perimeter around their home is secured and protected so that there's no debris lingering and able to catch any sparks, that the wildfire puts your own home at risk. But you're also telling me that your crews out here are sending help to our surrounding counties that are dealing with these wildfires, particularly Putnam and Clay. Can you tell us what they're seeing out there and how they're helping out?
Yeah, a lot of the big things that we're doing is pretty much protecting residents in the area is usually our task when we go on these deployments. So as soon as this fire started, they requested some mutual aid assistance from us. We responded over there and gave them a hand. Florida Forest Service takes a lot of the controlling the fire and building the fire lines, and then we provide a lot of that structural protection, making sure people's houses are on fire. And that's kind of leads into what we've been talking about, is making sure your house is fire ready, and you know, just protecting and getting that 5 feet clear around your house. That also allows us to move around.
And so that 5-foot perimeter, I want to discuss a little bit more with you. We mentioned earlier that mowing your grass is actually putting yourself at risk, and also anything that has metal to it, if it's dragging on the ground, that's causing a spark, that's also a risk for people and putting their homes in wildfire risks. What are some of the risk reduction projects people can start incorporating?
Yeah, you know, we're just urging, like we have the last couple hours, is urging people to go out, walk around their house, take a look at it, making sure there's no dead debris. You know, we did have a pretty cold winter, so there's a lot of dead flowers and plants and bushes and trees. Getting that all cleared out, taking it out to the street for somebody to come pick up, or, you know, if you live in a rural area, just to put it off away from your house. You know, firewood, propane tanks. Getting that all away from the house, so that way if a fire does happen around your area or around your home, it doesn't transfer into your house.
You want to be just as prepared as possible. Take a gander around your exterior if you haven't already, is what Chris is saying. Thank you for all that information, Chris. You've been super helpful all this morning. Reporting live in St. Johns County, Fariha Abrar, First Coast News, on your side.
Thanks for that, Fariha and Chris. Now, with severe wildfires currently burning on our First Coast, a former fire official is drawing comparisons to a similar fire season almost 30 years ago. The fires burned thousands of acres across Florida, and it taught firefighters some valuable lessons about battling wildfires. Our Jasmine Rose standing by now. She has more on what they've learned.
Yeah, Keitha, that's right. So former Fire Chief Ray Alfred is comparing these fires to those severe fires in 1998 around this time and 28 years ago. Now, wildfires were popping up around Northeast Florida and Central Florida. It would be the start of what we now know it's called the 1998 firestorm. Nearly 500,000 acres burned across the state, including thousands in Duval, Columbia, St. Johns, and Flagler counties. Now, Alfred had just moved to Jacksonville from Washington, D.C., and it took over as fire chief when the wildfire outbreak started. He would then go on to serve at the state committee that was formed to address wildfire mitigation after the firestorm of 1998. Now, he says that the most important thing they learned during that time was how to work with other fire departments.
We got introduced to mutual aid to the extent that we had never seen before. And so mutual aid played a big part, because now we send firefighters from Jacksonville all the way south to the counties to the south of us. And so we had to get used to that.
We are told that this outbreak also pushed fire departments, including Jacksonville, to train other firefighters to be EMTs to help with medical calls, because that number of calls during that time had dramatically went up.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage with First Coast News and First Coast News Plus.
We have new details about a heavy police presence in Jacksonville Beach.
Driver fired gunshots along the interstate today, prompting a police chase.
Breaking overnight, police are investigating an officer-involved shooting.
Breaking news, a major crash on I-95.
Routine controlled burn got out of control. First Coast News was the only station there.
Stream extended coverage on First Coast News Plus.